I didn't believe houses could be alive. Not haunted, not possessed, alive. But after what happened to me, I don't think that house was empty. I think it was waiting. And the worst part? I don't think I'm the one who left. I moved into the house because it was cheap, suspiciously cheap. It sat at the edge of a quiet town, surrounded by overgrown trees and power lines that hummed at night. The landlord barely asked questions. He just handed me the key and said, "People don't usually stay long." I thought he meant the location, or the isolation. I didn't realize he meant something else. The first night was quiet. Too quiet. No traffic, no neighbors, just the soft ticking of the kitchen clock. And around 2:17 a.m., I heard something, a slow, dragging sound coming from the hallway. The hallway light flickered when I stepped out of my bedroom. Nothing was there. But at the end of the hallway was a door I didn't remember seeing during the tour. It was slightly open. Inside, the room was freezing, not normal cold, the kind that sinks into your bones. The walls were bare, the floor empty, except for one thing, a tall mirror leaning against the far wall. I don't remember there being a mirror. I stepped closer. My reflection looked normal, but it didn't blink when I did. After that night, I started hearing things, soft whispers, not loud enough to understand, but clear enough to know they weren't coming from outside. They sounded close, too close. Sometimes they sounded like they were coming from behind me. Other times, they sounded like they were coming from inside my head. I stopped sleeping. Every time I closed my eyes, I dreamed of the house. But in the dream, it was empty. No furniture, no sound. Just me, standing in front of the mirror, and the version of me inside it, smiling. I went to the town records office. The woman at the desk recognized the address immediately. She didn't even need to look it up. 3 renters in the past 5 years, she said. All left suddenly. I asked if anything happened there. She hesitated. Then she said something I still can't forget. They didn't leave alone. The house began changing. Objects would move slightly. Doors would be open when I knew I closed them. One morning, I found a glass on the kitchen table filled with water. I don't drink water at night, but there were fingerprints on the glass. My fingerprints. I checked my phone camera roll. There were photos I didn't remember taking, pictures of the hallway, the mirror, and one photo of me sleeping, taken from the corner of my bedroom. I couldn't ignore the mirror anymore. I went back to that cold room. The door was already open. The air felt heavy. When I stood in front of the mirror, I noticed something. My reflection wasn't copying me perfectly anymore. It was slightly delayed. When I raised my hand, it raised its hand a second later. When I stepped forward, it stayed still. Then it moved on its own. It leaned closer to the glass and mouthed something. 3 words, "Stay this time." That night, I packed everything. I ran out the front door and ended up back in the hallway. I tried again, front door, darkness, hallway, over and over. The house wasn't letting me leave, or maybe it already had. The whispers stopped. The dragging sound stopped. The clock stopped ticking. Everything was quiet, because it didn't need to pretend anymore. I stood in front of the mirror one last time, and this time I understood. The reflection wasn't trapped. I was. The version of me in the mirror looked healthier, calmer, more complete. It smiled and stepped forward, through the glass. I felt cold hands grab my shoulders. The world went dark. When I opened my eyes, I was inside the mirror, watching myself walk away, comfortable, natural, like it belonged there. And maybe it did, because I don't think the house is haunted. I think it replaces. And now, It's waiting for the next person to move in.